Today we're on the brand new 2025 Trek Top Fuel Gen 4 9.8 GX Axis. I'm a longtime owner of the previous generation Top Fuel, the Gen 3. I've had an aluminum Top Fuel 8 for a year, put 1,200 miles on that. I'm currently riding a custom carbon Gen 3 Top Fuel that I have about 1,800 miles on. So this is coming from a previous owner's perspective of what this new Top Fuel feels like. One thing that I'm going to note really early on is that I normally ride a large. This is a medium large, but I was also curious how the medium large feels. This is my first ride with it here at Horse Hill Nature Preserve out in Merrimack, New Hampshire. This was provided to me as a demo by Goodale's Bike Shop in Nashua, New Hampshire. So shout out to them. If you need any service done on any kind of bike, Trek or not, they'll take care of you. Let's see how we do on the climb here. A little chunky. I have the bike currently in the progressive setting and low, since that's gonna make it a little bit different from the previous Top Fuel. Let's get this climb and I'll talk more. Right off the bat, I have to make a change. Since this is a demo, couldn't cut the bars, but I swapped on a pair of my own bars that were a little shorter from the factory. They come with an 820 millimeter long, wide Bontrager RSL bar, which looks great, and I like the comfort. I like the feel of it, but just way too wide. So I had to swap on my own pair of bars just to make it fit a little better. Overall here, got that nice silver color. The tubes are overall slimmed down. Looks really nice. Again, this is a medium large, and I normally run a large, so I have quite a bit of dropper left sticking out. This is a 170 mil dropper post, and to be honest, on a large and up, it should probably come with something like a 200 or even higher. But as spec, they only come with a 170 max for any size. Oh, brakes are not bedded in yet. No bite. Brakes are definitely not grabbing yet. These tires feel really good though, but maybe that's because the tires on my current Top Fuel are absolutely roasted. I need to swap them out. So far on the climbs, this bike, unsurprisingly, feels more similar than it is different to the previous Top Fuel. Maybe with a touch more responsiveness, putting the power down, even with the alloy wheels that come spec'd on this 9.8 build. I am liking these new tires that Trek has released, the Montrose and the Gunnison. It's a nice balance of grip and rolling resistance paired on this bike. Yeah, it does seem to accelerate pretty well. We'll see how it handles on the descents. One other nicety of this frame compared to the previous generation is that the water bottle placement, you can fit a much larger water bottle on this bike compared to the previous one. This is the biggest bottle that would fit on a size large on the Trek Fuel Gen 3. But here on this medium large Gen 4, you can see you have plenty of space for this next size up. One other thing to note is that on the Gen 3, right here, the brake cables would get kinked quite a bit. And depending on what brakes you run, there could be issues with your braking performance not being consistent, which is something I experienced in the cold with Shimano brakes. But so far, this has been a good ride going uphill. It's my wife up ahead, joining me for the ride today on her extra small Fuel EX Gen 6. She's gonna do inner loop, I'm gonna do outer loop. Yeah, brakes not feeling great so far, but they're definitely not bedded in. We have some descending here, some punchy, semi-technical climbs. Yeah, the pedaling platform does seem pretty stiff. Ooh, blew that corner out because I didn't brake early enough. Definitely not trusting these brakes. Oh yeah, brakes not really working. All right, a little technical climb here. Definitely still need to dial the suspension in a little bit more. All right, back up the hill. Good traction over the roots. Nice and hot, humid day today. That post-ride beer is already gonna feel good. And we just got started. Yeah, the rear end feels stiff. This bike feels a little stiffer laterally compared to the previous one. Although maybe brand new bearings in this thing makes a bigger difference. Let's make a small suspension adjustment. Speed up the rebound a little bit. I felt good. A little booter. Wow, even with the aluminum wheels, it does accelerate pretty well. A feature here on the left. Another one come up. And another one. The rear end on this feels actually a little more similar to like a Pivot Trail 429. The old top fuel sank into travel a little bit more while climbing. Just a tad. This bike does have longer chain stays compared to the previous one. At least looking at the medium large and the large, about 5 millimeters. And the wheelbase is a tad longer, about 1 centimeter. But cornering still seems pretty good. To be fair, again, I'm riding a size smaller than I normally do. Might be running a little bit high spring rate in the front. Feeling a little skippy. popped up real nice. The progressive setting does actually feel more progressive. Normally on my old top fuel, I'm pretty much getting close to bottom out all the time. Although that thing never really bottomed out hard. Every once in a while, it would clang off something. Because that bike is fairly linear. I probably need to drop the spring rate a little bit in the rear, and same at the front, but not too much. That's not too technical terrain, so that's about where, that's close to where I'd want it to be. All right, smooth kind of gravel climb. Definitely feels a bit stiffer. Not seeing any shock movement compared to the Gen 3. Gen 3, a little bit more traction-y, but plenty of traction here still, even with a slightly higher anti-squat. Going up the hill, some mildly technical climbing, nothing too crazy. A rooty section up here. Oh, rock to hop up. No problem. Feels pretty spry. Unlike myself. Medium large for me does feel pretty decent, keeping in mind that I swapped to a 35 mil stem because that's all I had laying around. But I think with a 45 it would actually feel pretty decent. I'm about 6 foot, maybe just shy of 6 feet. 6 feet with feet, with shoes on. Close enough, right? But really kind of on that cusp of between a large and a medium large. But this doesn't feel too bad, doesn't feel overly cramped. I think slightly shorter bars, maybe a 770, which is what I run on my current top fuel, and a 45 mil stem would be pretty good. The downhill coming off of Horse Hill. Let's see how this thing feels with my very rudimentary suspension setup. Definitely still needs a bit of work. Out of the saddle pedaling. Yeah, feels just a hair more responsive than the old top fuel. Oh, brakes don't quite have the bite I want yet. A little drop here. Let's see how it feels. Oh, real good. Yeah, not trusting these brakes. That felt pretty good. It actually turned better than I expected, being that the wheelbase is a tad longer. Well, I guess I'm on a shorter bike overall, so similar wheelbase, but the chain stays are 5 mil longer on this medium large compared to my large Gen 3. Yet still feels pretty good. Maybe because I'm a little more centered on this bike. Oh, the deer flies out. On this flatter stuff, it just goes, this thing. I would love to see what this feels like with some lighter weight carbon wheels. Yeah, I don't know what it is. The ride feel actually does feel more like a Pivot Trail 429. However, the geo and the body positioning still feels like the Gen 3 top fuel. Not too much of a major difference there. All right, got a nice, fairly steep climb with some punchy bits. This one's more about energy, a little bit of technique. But you definitely need the gas to get up. Let's see how the top fuel feels. Oh, tons of traction. Wow. Perhaps that longer wheelbase, the longer chainstay does help in putting the power down, even with the higher anti-squat. All right, we got our final descent. The very end will be more technical, or not technical, but just more rocky. All right, this bike does corner quite well. Although I think it would corner better if I trusted these brakes more. Man. Yeah, suspension use a little more dialing. That felt not so great. All right, coming to the final downhill bit. All right. Overall, definitely a refinement over the previous top fuel. If you like the old top fuel, I think you're gonna like this one. But I definitely need some more tuning before I can give my final thoughts. Currently, the bike feels maybe a tad harsh, front and rear, but I think partly because I'm running too high of a spring rate for this bike. Pedaling, I do notice that, and surprising enough, cornering, maybe because it's a smaller bike for me, actually feels quite well balanced. That's it for today. Thanks for joining me on the first ride impression of the 2025 Trek Top Fuel Gen 4.